there, and that maybe also, but I'm not sure. That could be something with zinc. That is a zinc route or something. So, but that is the main thing, and maybe a bit more. And that is here in Hartlepool in northeast England. Hartlepool is 4 kilometers north. 4 kilometers north, a bit behind Seattle. And that is the Tees mouth here. The Tees River goes back from far inland from York and so on. Goes here out, and here's the Tees mouth, a big area also. It's a kilometer big mouth of the Tees. And the ships are also going out. So on the north bank of the Tees River in northeast England. And the south bank of the river is Middlesbrough. Out there's Billingham and Stockton on Tees. Up there's Hartlepool with Italy, Sunderland and Newcastle. There's also Durham. So it is producing 1.2 megawatt, I think, was it? And that are 3% of the whole United Kingdom's usage. And Hartlepool is 50,000 people, Middlesbrough 150,000, Billingham and Stockton-on-Tees, I don't know, around 50,000 again. Durham must be 30-40,000, Sunderland also something around 30-40,000. So if I calculate it around, York is also some about that number 30,000. In the area of here, around 50 kilometers around, up until York 50 and Newcastle 50 kilometers of Hartlepool and Middlesbrough, here are around 300,000-400,000 people living, maybe 500,000, but it is producing 3% of the whole UK for 1.5 million people. That would mean that it is able to transport the electricity generated here to further than just these 50 kilometers here in the region. But I don't know, this is just a read between the lines. Now it is here, and it has 2 reactors and they are advanced gas cooling or something, and that means that they're using graphite to cool, to moderate the nutrients and carbon dioxide to cool. And it was first, I think, was the first in the United Kingdom built these advanced gas cooling system, and the third one, and the first one built so close to population people, just down the Tees is Middlesbrough. And yes, there was in 2013 a fire, where we are not talking about that. There was a fire, it was oil leak, and was then extinguished half an hour later. It was shut down and cooled, so there was no contamination. It was started to construction in 1968, and I was supposed to say 1969, and it started to create electricity in 1983, and it should do it until 2028. It's now 2026, but already in 2007 there was when we shut it down, because if you read the text, because it's getting too old. We tested in 2025 the graphite and so on, and then said we can let it run for 3 more years. We will see if it works. And so that is here, and it should be shut down in 2028, but it was already in the last 20 years multiple times prolonged. And we're thinking about building a new one in the same place. A new one, if it was, in their proposal is then written that it would create 3,000 jobs for 8 years to build it, then permanently 600 people working there full time, and cost 6 billion, and would then produce 1.8 megawatt. And here goes the Durham coastline down, the big railway going all the coast here on. Behind the landfill, the Hartlepool landfill, Seton Terror landfill is it? And it has then here a branch bringing nuclear fuel, whatever that means, a branch down here to a nuclear plant. And we're here on a public bridleway between the Seton Terror golf course, and there's a free parking lot. I think it's also a free parking lot, but at least there. There's a public bridleway between 2 golf courses, the Hartlepool Power Plant golf course and the Seton Terror golf club. And in the big dunes here, and here one can go free and go here and look at it, and was there anything else? I think that was all what was written there. So this is the Hartlepool nuclear power plant, producing 1.2 gigawatt, should be shut down in 2 years, maybe we're going to build a new one. I'm in Norway affiliate, yes, that is another thing. It was built, I think, still national by the country. Then in 1990 it was privatized, I don't know for what reason, it was privatized in 1990. It was operated by 2 companies, and now it's operated by EDF. I don't know something. And I'm in Norway sponsored or affiliated, all contact with anyone working here at EDF Britain or whatever it's named or whatever the thing is. Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn civil engineering. Today the Hartlepool nuclear power plant or something. And after we've done with it, we're gonna do something. Next finger neck stretching. If you participate in the neck stretching, it's the honest. And I'm gonna take now the camera because I have only on this camera the material. I don't have a book or anything for it, so I can read only from that phone here, and on that I'm now recording. So that is the Hartlepool nuclear power station. I don't have a material now, so I don't have a book. I can only say what I read. It is in Hartlepool in northeast England. It is 4 kilometers south of Hartlepool, and directly behind it is the Tees River, a big river going out there. There's the mouth of the river down there. And south of the river, this is at the north bank, south of the river, there's Middlesbrough, and there's Billingham and Stockton-on-Tees. And Hartlepool has around 50,000 people, Middlesbrough 150,000, Billingham and Stockton-on-Tees, I don't know, it's around 30,000 or something. I haven't read it, just guess. Now, it is that power station here. I don't have the Wikipedia article or anything right now here, but it is here, I read it. And it is providing 1.2 megawatt or something, and that is 3% of the total United Kingdom's usage necessary. It was started to be built in 1968 and started to produce in 1983. It makes 3% of the United Kingdom. Here in the region, as I said, with Middlesbrough 150,000 people, Hartlepool 50,000, so here around 200,000 people living in the 3 towns around, but it is providing energy for 1.5 million people. Now if I calculate that around, that nuclear power plant is then able to transport to 10 times more people as are living here, the energy. And here around for quite some time are not so many people living. Newcastle is around 50 kilometers from here. Durham is 30. And further in the south there's also not so many big towns. If I calculate it around, in Newcastle are also just 400,000 people, I think, has it. In the next 50 kilometers from here are only 500,000 people living. Maximum, and in the vicinity of 5 kilometers just 50,000. But it can provide energy for 1.5 million people. That means, if I calculate it correctly, it can transport actually the energy quite far away. So I don't have any information, I can just read between the lines. That means the energy produced here must be able to be transported for around 100 kilometers or something all over the country. And we're here next to the coast, so it's not here to the coast out. So it has to be all here to the inside of the country. There's the North Sea on that side. And what else was written? There was a fire in 2013 at, I think, reactor 2 or unit 2, and it was extinguished 30 minutes later. There was an oil leak, but it was shut down and cooled, so there was no contamination. And it is the first one which was built in the United Kingdom so close to urban environment. It is in Hartlepool, the Hartlepool borough area, even though Middlesbrough is much closer, just over the Tees River. But the Tees is here very wide, it's a kilometer wide. And what else was written? It is a gas advanced station or something. I'm going to look at it in a moment correctly. Gas advanced cooling station or something. It was just the third one of that kind built in the United Kingdom. And that means it is with graphite cooled down. And also with carbon dioxide cooled, and with graphite the neutrons moderated, and with the other thing which I just said, with the carbon dioxide cooled down. And it started to operate in 1983 and should be shut down in 2028, so in 2 years. But it was already in the last 15 years multiple times prolonged, and it seems to be shut down because it's getting too old. They looked at the graphite in 2025, I think, and said when it can operate until 2028. So it is because it's getting too old, and they're planning to build a new one. And this is again a possible site to build it here again. If they build a new one, they're saying in the planning, which of course maybe it doesn't happen like that. They're saying it will cost a new one then £6 billion, I guess. And 3,000 people would work for 8 years, and after that 600 people would operate on the new one permanent, which, I forgot it, I think 2 megawatt. I don't know, if I think it was gigawatt rather. So 3% of the whole United Kingdom, I think rather gigawatt or something, or mega gigawatt, whatever, this big number. And it makes sense from a context if someone understands it. Okay, I think that is all what I read here and what I can say. Now, that was now the study jump part of civil engineering. So if you were here for that, you can go directly to the next part, where we will continue with something new then in civil engineering. If you stay here and participate in the next stretching minutes at your own risk, I'm going to do the presentation then in a moment, and where I say then the things again. And I'm going to burn the presentation before this video. If you stay here and participate in the next stretching minutes at your own risk. Breathe in, and I'll turn the head over to the side. In middle. out to the other side. In middle, out to the side, and circle the head over the beginning in, and out, circle back, and back in the middle. That was the neck stretching. I thank you very much, and until next time.